So I'm delighted to be speaking with Julia Bickerstaff. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Robert.
How are you?
Good, very good.
That's good. Now, look, I know that you talk a lot about running a business is very similar to kind of baking a cake. Please explain.
Well, there's a few bits to it. The first thing is that if you come to baking a cake, there are certain things that you need to do. You can't just put the ingredients together in any old way.
No, that wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. And really it's the same with a business. It's very important to have certain things done in certain ways. So, and Nigella Lawson actually, she says that baking a cake requires, mathematical respect. And the same to a certain extent with a business, rather than mathematical though, it's about bringing the right things together.
Okay. So I know that you go through a kind of a process, don't you? You use this analogy quite widely. Where does it start? What's your first kind of step?
Well, can you imagine a recipe for a minute? Now, the first thing you might see is the ingredients, and you need ingredients for a business. So the ingredients of a business might be something like the purpose of the business, the idea that you've got, what the market is you're going to serve. The second thing we often look at is the picture of what in the recipe you're going to create. And I think that was really, really important. Because if you're flicking through a baking book, the reason that you bake something is because of the picture of what it looks like.
Yes, you're trying to create something that looks like Jamie Oliver or
exactly. Now we might have mixed success with that, but it's the same with a business. So if you're having your business recipe, you start with the ingredients, and then you think about what it is. What does the picture look like of what you want to create?
So this is your vision, where you're headed with your business.
Absolutely, and the goals, and it's the bit that people often forget to do, but it's so important because that's what keeps you going. The same thing if you're baking, the thing that keeps you going and doing the whole process is the thought of eating that thing at the end and what it looks like. And it's the same thing with a business.
So do you think in small business then, should we always have this kind of vision in front of us?
Absolutely. It doesn't need to be, I think people get a little bit off put by things like vision statements and that sort of stuff. It's nothing to do with that. It's a picture of what you think the business is going to look like in, say, 5 or 10 years' time. It doesn't have to be, if you want your business to be a one-man band in 5 years' time and generating just X amount of money and you working 40 hours a week in it, that's fine. That's the picture of the future. But it's very important to have that so that you can be always thinking about why it is you're getting up every morning, why are you doing what you're doing, so that for that picture.
And obviously helps you make decisions along the way.
Absolutely, it does. And then the next step, because there's a few more steps
so
in the recipe.
Ingredients,
we've got the picture.
The picture.
The next bit is the how to do it steps. The how are you actually going to do it? Now, that sort of sounds very easy, but in actual fact, if you think about a business, it's not just the how are you putting the thing together that you're selling, but also, how you're going to tell people about it, how you're going to market it, how you're going to distribute it. What are the actual steps you're going to do? And again, that's something which I think we tend to underestimate actually how much there is in that. So I sort of recommend that people look at how to do it steps of a business.
This all sounds much less sort of confronting than creating a business plan. So this is your version of a business plan.
Well,
really,
it is, but it's the common sense version because anybody can remember what a recipe looks like and think, okay, well, these are the things that I need, and it's a much more intuitive way of thinking about it. And really, the reason that people don't do business plans is they all seem rather complicated. They seem they're going to have to be these enormous.
And there's no kind of attachment to them.
No, not at all. Whereas this is something which actually feels it feels right. You can do it, and after all, a business plan is for you. If somebody asks you to do a business plan for a bank or for raising money or something, then it's good to find out exactly how they want it. But in my experience, anybody who's gone through this process of sort of doing the recipe, they will actually have done the things that the bank or whoever the financier wants. There's actually the 2 more parts of the recipe. Can I butt in and do those 2? The next thing is what I call the equipment. So if you're doing a recipe, you need to know the equipment that you need as well. And by equipment, I actually put people in here, but there's people, but there's also your infrastructure, computer, that sort of thing, delivery truck, whatever it is. But often we start by thinking we can do it all ourselves. But we can't actually do it all ourselves. Big track, very big trap, and we can outsource that stuff. But that's sort of the equipment. And then the final part of a recipe, if you think about when you're doing a recipe, so you've got your ingredients, your picture, your how to do it steps, what equipment you need, the beater and all that sort of stuff. The final thing it says is number of serves.
So who's coming over?
And that's very, very important. How many people are you making this for? What size is your business going to be? How many are you going to sell? What are the actual numbers behind it, the metrics behind it? And when I was a kid, I made an apple strudel for our family, and our family was 4 people, and I misunderstood the recipe, and I did it for 32 people. And it's, we ate apple strudel for about 6 months.
Yep.
But I have also met businesses, for example, who have bought enough packaging to last for 5 years, rather than realising actually how many they're going to sell. So the number part of the business, how many we're going to sell and what the costings are, is the last part of the recipe.
That's fantastic. Julia, thank you so much. Now, I know this is all on your website. Your name of your website is?
So it's thebusinessbakery.com.au.
Thebusinessbakery.com.au. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas with us.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.